Hello, 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 everyone. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Happy Monday. As many of you may know, I usually come on Monday mornings between 7 and 7:30-ish and give you your Monday real estate market update. And so today is much later. It's 12 o'clock. It's lunchtime for you guys. And this may be the new time. My kids are back to school now. So during that morning session, they are getting off to the buses and daycare and everything. So it makes it a little bit more challenging. I've been debating if I should go earlier, but many of you may not be up as early as I am. So I'm gonna try to keep it here around the noonish time frame. So during the market update, I like to give you information as to what's going on in the market overall. Also provide some tips to you, whether you're a first-time home buyer, a seller, or a real estate investor. Always trying to give some tidbit of information that you can use as you're going through your real estate transaction. And then I also provide you with an update with the current month's numbers in terms of usually focusing on the Cuyahoga County area and providing you data as to what's going on in that market. So overall, on a higher level, just on a national look, what we're seeing is a shift is happening in the marketplace. And that shift is where buyers are now buying homes. So we were seeing prior to going into COVID-19, we were seeing that people were looking at more of the urban areas to call their new home. But now, as we start to come out of this COVID-19 situation, I think we're coming out of the situation anyway. We're back out and we're seeing that a shift is happening and people are opting for more suburban homes. So they're leaving urban and now they're shifting more towards suburban areas. And I believe there's a couple reasons that this is happening. Number one, with COVID-19 and kids having to now be at home and work from home, it's created a need for additional space in the homes, including outdoor spaces, just because we're not going out as much as we were. So a place to gather and have fun where you're comfortable at home. And then also a need for office space, and then a need for like more of a kids area inside the home. So because of that, people are shifting, going out to more that suburban area so they can get a larger property at a lower price point. Because how that typically works, the closer you are to the inner city, downtown Cleveland, or even downtown Akron area for us, the closer you get to those areas, the more expensive houses are. Just because everyone is typically, when you think about in the Cleveland area, we have all of the sports arenas and a lot of large firms are downtown Cleveland. So in order to get a large modern home, it would be relatively expensive for you to do in an urban area. But as you start to move away out from the inner city or from the downtown area, the properties tend to go down, but you can get a much larger home. So it's kind of interesting. I'm not sure how long this is going to be the situation or be the trend right now. Again, we're still in the height of dealing with COVID-19. So I'm sure that this is what has folks, opting for a suburban area. But we are still dealing with the low inventory situation as well. So that makes it challenging, and people are putting in multiple offers and losing out. Like we've been writing offers at $10, $20, $25,000 even over asking price and still not winning the property. So definitely something to think about as you're trying to find a home, of preparing and giving yourself enough time for that property to come up. So over in Cuyahoga County for the month of September, just want to give you some numbers of kind of like where we're at. So the number of homes sold so far, and where we're at, we are just at September 14th. So we're just at 594 homes sold already for the month. The average sale price in Cuyahoga County right now is $199,000. And then the number of new listings that have come on the market is 984. So when you think about the number of new listings that came on the market versus what sold, almost half of the listings that have come on the market, about half of that is being sold every month. So something else I want to touch on, because I always like to give you guys some tips. And today I want to talk about rental or becoming a landlord and how important a rental application is. So I know I talk a lot about getting the property, getting your investment property and holding on to it, but I don't talk as much about, okay, getting yourself in the best position when placing or looking for a tenant. I've been doing this for a long time, worked, and doing property management. So I have seen the methods that work and what doesn't work. And one of the things that I have come to know is that rental application is really your crystal ball as to knowing what's going on with that tenant. Landlords often give a break to tenants just naturally. Talking to people, we want to believe their stories. We feel compassion for other people, so we want to oftentimes go against everything what our gut tells us, and we decide to rent to an individual that there were some question marks there from the beginning. So a couple of tips on how to deal with that so the pressure is not necessarily on you is hiring a property management company to help you. So when you hire the property management company, it's not tugging on your heartstring directly when you're saying no to an applicant. There's a barrier there. You have that property manager that's dealing with the tenant so they can give the blow or break the news to that potential renter that you don't want to go forward with them. That application gives us so much information and oftentimes so many red flags. But then we end up going forward with that individual. So if you see the red flags of they've had a prior eviction, I have heard the story a number of times, and I'm not saying that it's not true some of the time, but I have heard the story of, it wasn't my rental place. I just co-signed for someone else, which it happens. I have heard the story about, that individual got sick, which it happens. I have heard the story about losing their job, which, we know these happen. So these are all legitimate excuses as to why an eviction may be on their record. However, there's an eviction on their record, and we don't know for it to be true or not true. So we want to make sure that we're treating every individual the same way, right? If we treat everyone that comes through the pipeline the same way, they complete the application, an eviction shows up on there, it's not your job to give the benefit of the doubt. You have to remember that the whole purpose of you investing in real estate and having rental property, it was for you to build a bigger, better future for yourself, whether it is an immediate cash inflow for you to pay some monthly bills or maybe go on that vacation you want to go to, or you're putting that money away in savings. So the minute that you bring in this individual that is going to conflict with what your goals is a problem. And that's what happens when you go against the process. So when I say go against the process is, if I'm managing your property, right? We have rules in place. And that rule is, if an individual has an eviction within the last 5 years, automatic failure. I don't care what the situation is. Sometimes, I feel sorry for that individual. I would like to help that individual, but my help may come in a form of, here's an agency that may be able to help you find housing, or here is someone else you can reach out to that maybe would take you with that eviction. That is the form of help that I would give, but it wouldn't be in my property because I have a goal and I need to make sure that I meet that goal that I'm working towards. So with that being said, you have a process. If that individual comes along and they have an eviction and it's been within the 5-year period that we're saying, sorry, next is what you have to say. You cannot allow these people to interfere with what your plans are. Again, we don't know. And oftentimes when I talk to owners, this is exactly what happened. They listen to the sad story, but then come to find out that renter shows them what they're really made of, and that they probably weren't telling the truth. Another thing where landlords make the mistake is looking at the income. The income is so important for you to really look at. So say your rent is $1,000 and that person makes $2,000 a month. You may say, well, oh, okay, they make $2,000, the rent is $1,000. And so you may be willing to rent to that individual because they make $1,000 more than what the rent is. And that's absolutely false. The income is a big indicator on whether or not that individual is going to pay you. If they have, you have to think about it as if they make a $2,000 per month and the rent you have is $1,000, they're going to have lights, gas for the house. They probably are paying water. They're going to have expenses. They may have kids. So there's usually not enough money to really cover for them to live off of. So paying $1,000 to you for rent, oftentimes once they get in there, you know, people are, if they had to choose between their kids and then or paying the rent, sometimes people are going to choose making sure that their kids, they're sending their kids off with school clothes, and then I'll come back and pay the rent later. And we don't really want that. We want somebody who is financially stable enough to, they can take care of the kids and they can pay the rent every month. So we typically look for an individual that has 3 times the monthly rent is what you're looking at. And even with that, even looking at their income, and you want to really focus in on the net and not the gross, because they can be making $2,000 net, but then they have all of these taxes and other things coming out of their check that makes it much less at the end of the month. So these are things and flags. You want to really focus in on that income. If they have a newer job, they haven't been on their job long enough, and this is the first time that they're at that pay rate. You know, maybe they worked in retail, now they're working, you know, as a nurse now. So now they've increased and made more money, but they just haven't been on their job for a long time, and their credit is not the best. We may start looking to ask for additional security deposit. The more money that you can hold on to, the more secure you are as the landlord. So that rental history, the rental application, what they put on that rental application, making sure that you're doing your landlord verification. So wherever they said that they were living at prior to, you want to make sure that you're reaching out to that landlord. You're asking the questions. Would you rent to them again? Did they pay their rent on time? You know, did they have any pets when they were living there? And then one other thing that I do know some owners do, which I think, you know, is pretty cool as well, is, you know, they'll ask that renter, hey, can I come over to your home to see your home? And the reason why they're asking to go see their home is, I want to see how you live. Are you keeping your place tidy? Do you care for it? Do you just let the kids write on the wall? You don't know how many times we go into a property and kids have taken a crayon and wrote on the wall. It happens from time to time, but we shouldn't see this throughout, you know, the unit of the kids not taking care. You see stains on the carpet. So this is a big indicator as well. And oftentimes, as crazy as it sounds, you would think, well, they're going to clean up. You know, there's certain things that people, they're so used to living a certain kind of way. They just think that it's normal to live, you know, that way. So their type of cleanup may not be your type of cleanup. So these are definitely red flags as well. So there was a question that it being illegal, is it illegal to charge more than 1 month's rent? And that's not the case. You can charge as much money as you want to charge in terms of security deposit. But anything above the 1 month's rent, you're supposed to be paying interest back to that tenant on a monthly basis. Now that interest is very, very low. I can't remember the exact percentage amount. It's very, very low on there that you have to pay. This is no different. A lot of times the gas company, electric company, they will also charge a security deposit. And if it exceeds a certain amount, they have to pay you interest because they're holding that money from you. But you can charge any amount of security deposit that you see fit. So that is all it. Oh, I do want to share with you guys, I am going to be teaching a 4-part series, financial literacy, taking you back from the basics. We're going over credit. We're even talking about banking. We're getting you on the road to home ownership. I'm teaching this for the NAACP. Session 1 is going to be this Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. I did provide the link on the Brickhouse Realty Facebook page, so you can go on there and register through the Eventbrite for NAACP. This is a 2-hour session you do not want to miss. It's 4 parts of this. So this Wednesday is session 1. We're getting you on the road. This is free. So if you know someone that just needs to get back on the road, needs to really understand credit, needs to know what they need to do to get themselves in a good position, please refer them. I'll again share it on, but it is on the Brickhouse Realty page for the link for the NAACP. So hope you guys have a wonderful Monday. Thank you for joining me today. If this is your first time joining me, please like or subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button. So I will talk to you guys next time.